Hey, all you YouTube fans, and welcome to this numero 7 of these storytelling in a day packages that I have been providing. What a gorgeous day for it. Sometimes we're threatened by rain. Potentially today, no rain, which will be really good, especially after the week we've had. Today's a bit of an odd one because I haven't quite formulated the plan in my mind, but I think this is going to be the last one of these that I do in this format, because obviously lockdown is starting to be relaxed and we're moving forward, and this isn't a long-term plan anyway. However, what this does mean is that next week I'm going to try an experiment. And I'm going to try on my Facebook profile instead of YouTube, unless I can connect it to YouTube as well. I'm going to do a live storytelling session in a day, which means that anybody watching will be able to suggest a theme or suggest an idea or suggest what I talk about, which I think will be quite interesting. And I know a lot of people have been trying this throughout lockdown, and I just haven't got around to it yet. So jumping on the bandwagon a little bit late. As always, I wasn't sure what theme to do today. My first sort of idea was to do a sort of future, or like a prophecy style story. But last night when I was thinking about it, I thought, you know, that might be quite hard to find a specific story that has that. And then looking at what I'm talking about in this introduction, I thought perspective is another option to look at. The idea of how two people's experience of the same thing can be vastly different. So if I fail to find a future story, which I probably won't really look at the same, I'll be doing a perspective story. I think that's all there is to say. Usual tennis plan story. Yes, that's all there is to say. So as always, I'm going to go and research a brand new story, and I will share it with you shortly this evening. And maybe squeeze in 25 push-ups at some point, because that's still a thing. Bye! Back from tennis, and I'm having a look for these stories, and as I expected, stories about the future and also prophecy have been quite difficult to find anything decent. But what I didn't expect is stories about perspective was also equally difficult to find anything. However, after a little bit of looking, I've ended up on this page called learningtogive.org, and there's a whole collection of stories from across the world for grade level 9, 10, 11, 12, so potentially younger than I'm aiming for, but nevertheless, a kid's folktale is still a decent folktale. And I'm still having a look. I've got about 8 open at the minute, and I'm confident one of these will be decent enough to share with you all. So I've sort of been successful. I've ended up finding 2 stories that are very, very similar, but from complete different sides of the world, like 7,000 miles between them. So I thought it'd be interesting to sort of pick out the best bits of both and smosh it together. But I'm going to link to both stories down below in case you wanted to look at each of them individually. So that is the plan. Gonna go learn it and tell it. Peace. So before we tell any stories, gotta make sure we do 25 push-ups. So here it goes. Ooh. Oh. Of course I'm not doing the 25 yet. I need my papa for that. Let's go and tell you a story. Over there. Hello there, all you lovely people who have been watching this story in a day based around the theme of perspective. Now, as I mentioned in my last little clip, I have decided to bring together 2 stories. We've got a story here from Korea that is based around a tiger, and a story here from Nigeria that's based around a crocodile. And both of these stories are very, very similar in the events that happen in them, even though the two countries are 7,000 miles apart. And I think that's a great example of how stories naturally just appear within humanity. And even if you have a slightly different way of life, or the events that happen are different, you still will end up with the same stories and history. And I think that's magnificent. So here is that hybrid story about perspective. Long, long time ago, there was a forest. And in this forest there was a tiger. And the tiger was prowling around, feeling very proud of itself, looking at everything that was around, and he felt good about things. And then suddenly, he fell down a hole. Now, where the hole had come from or why it was there, we don't know. But the tiger was trapped. He tried to jump up and hold on to the sides, but every time he just fell back down and he was stuck in that hole. He called out, "Help! Help!" until he was hoarse in his mouth. And still, nothing came. Day turned to night, and when the tiger thought that all hope was lost, he looked up as the vision went from his eyes, and he saw a man leaning down, and the tiger moved just slightly in the mouth. Whoa! A tiger in a hole. And the tiger looked up, and in this story tigers can speak, and said, "Help me, I'm trapped in a hole." The man said, I can't help you, you're a tiger. If I help you, you're just going to eat me." The tiger said, No, I need to get out of this hole. "Look, if you help me, then I will make it worth your while." "But you're a tiger, how can you help me? I'm just a man walking around the forest." I could be your guard. I could look after you in the forest. There's lots of things out to get you. A forest isn't a safe place for a man such as yourself. So you promise not to eat me? The tiger said, of course I promise not to eat you. You saved my life. I'd be indebted to you. And the man took a deep breath and looked around, and he put his hand in. But the hole was too deep for the tiger to reach up and grab his hand. And the man looked and he thought, if I jumped in, maybe I could push the tiger up. Nah. And then he saw a fallen tree in the corner. So he went over and he lugged the tree over to the hole, and he put it down so that the bottom of the tree was at the bottom of the hole and the top of the tree was poking out. And the tiger, of course, just climbed up the tree with a newfound energy that wasn't there before. And when he got to the top of the hole, what do you think happened? Do you think he shook the hand of the man, went on his merry way, never to see? He shook the hand of the man and went on his merry way, never to see. He shook the hand of the man and went on his merry way, never the two should meet again. Do you think that perhaps he stuck to his word and he became a guard for that man, looking out for all of the dangers and protecting him? Of course, that did not happen. As soon as the tiger got out of the hole, he pounced on the man. And the man said, "Whoa, hey, is this how you tigers show your gratitude? I saved your life." And the tiger said, "I haven't eaten in a whole day and a whole night. Human flesh. It's not the best type of meat," but he licked his lips and he gently, perhaps not gently, and he dragged that man all the way through the forest until he came to the tiger home, with Mummy Tiger and the 2 children tigers. Family, I was away all night and day. I was stuck in a hole. But I've made it up for you with this, a man that we can all enjoy. And the man said, hey, tiger family, I saved your tiger father from the hole. Could you at least spare my life? You don't even have to owe me anything. And the tiger said, no, we eat you. And the man said, okay, I don't want to be eaten, and you want to eat me, and that's 2 sides of a very strong coin. But why don't we ask someone else's opinion? That tree there. Why don't we ask that tree what he thinks? And of course, in this story, trees can talk. So the tiger went over to the tree and said, well, explain the situation. You already know what's happening, so I don't need to regurgitate. And the tree briefly came alive and said, this man is asking whether or not you should eat him. He thinks he should be spared. Let me tell you what humans have done to us trees. You humans, you use us for shade without so much as a thank you. You cut off our branches to burn with, to light your houses and keep yourselves warm. You cut us down once we are too old and big, and use every part of us to build houses or ships with, and tools. I reckon that hole that was dug was probably dug by a wooden shovel. So of course, I believe the tiger should eat you. It's all you deserve. With that, the tiger turned to the man and went towards him threateningly. The man thought, a 2 against 1, these odds are not good. And of course the tigers, all 4 of them, their lips watering. And he said, well, okay. Perhaps it wasn't best to ask the tree. Maybe if we ask, at that moment, a mare, by which I mean a horse, not the person who runs a city or town, was gently trotting along in this forest. Oh, we could ask that mare. Yes, I think the mare will agree with me. And the tiger said, sure enough. And so the man went over to that. Mare, sorry. We've got a bit of a disagreement here. The tiger thinks that he should eat me. I don't think he should. Where do you stand on that whole tiger eating people thing? And the mare gently went over to where the man and the tiger was, looked at the man hard, and said, you humans are kind to us when we are young. You let us roam in fields of freshly cut grass. You feed us oats and tasty treats. You build stables for us to keep us warm and to protect us from the rain. The man was thinking, this is good, the mare's going to be on my side. And then we turn old, and we are too weak to carry your loads. You slaughter us. You use our meat for the clothes that you wear and various other things, and you even eat our flesh. Tigers, I think it's only fair that you eat this man. It's all he deserves. Well, the man was completely out of options. It was 3 against 1. 7 if you include the other tigers. He was his hours were numbered. There was not a lot that could be done. The tigers came towards him menacingly. Okay. I will let you eat me. After we have asked the next creature that comes along, animal or plant, one more, the final opinion. And the tigers reluctantly agreed because they thought this should be done fairly. And it just so happened that a rabbit was hopping along. And it just so happened that that rabbit was the same rabbit that the man had previously freed from a fence that it was trapped in. And so, of course, the man said, Rabbit, hop over here. The tiger thinks that he should eat me, but I don't think he should because I saved him from a hole. What's your opinion? And the rabbit looked at both the man and the tiger and said, I can't make my judgment here. I need to hear both sides of the coin. Tiger, talk me through what happened. And so the tiger explained that he was walking through the forest and he fell through a hole. And the rabbit said, take me to the hole. I want to see it for myself. And so the man, the tiger, and the rabbit left the little tiger den and went over to where that big hole was in the middle of the forest. And complete with the tree still jutting out of it. And they looked down, and the tiger and the man wondering what the rabbit was thinking. And the rabbit said, I'm starting to see the puzzle a little bit, but I think you need to be in your original positions. The places that you were when this problem occurred. And so the tiger, knowing that every second that he's not eaten that meat, the meat is that little bit juicier and will be that little bit more tastier and he will enjoy it that little bit more, agreed to what the rabbit said and jumped into the hole. The man was on top with the rabbit, wondering what the plan was. And the rabbit said, I'm nearly there. I can sort of see what's happened here, but this isn't how it was. Man, was the tree there before? And the man said, no, it wasn't. And so he took the tree out and pushed it to one side in the clearing where he found it. And then the rabbit said, yes, this is how things were, wasn't it? And you're saying, tiger, that the man came along and saved you from the hole, and then the man came along and saved you from the hole, and then you wanted to eat him. Is that correct? And the tiger said, yes, I guess so. So, rabbit, what is your judgment? And the rabbit said, well, you're all in your original positions now before the disagreement happened. Now, if the man had never shown kindness to you, tiger, then the problem would never have come about. Where we are now, there has been no disagreement, and therefore there's no need for my opinion anymore. And that is the conclusion that I have come to. And with that, the rabbit hopped away. And the man looked down at the tiger and the pain that he had caused, and he too walked away. And the tiger was left trying to jump out of that hole once again and screaming until his voice was hoarse. That is a story that's a little bit from Korea and a little bit from Nigeria. And again, perspective. Perspective also could mean opinion, I think, and that's a story that's rooted in opinion and all the various animals and plants' view on what humans are like. And actually, if you look at the two links below, you'll see that the man also speaks to a dress and a mat to see their view. And as you can imagine, most people's views are against humanity. So, thank you for joining me on another story. As I have explained, next week I will be attempting to do a live storytelling session. If the weather's nice, it'll be outside and I think it will be delightful. So details of that will be on my Facebook page, and also my professional page, which is jameslittleactor, actor, and I will link that all below. And also, if you are a big fan of stories, I will be doing a virtual storytelling session that has been happening throughout lockdown, but because I haven't had the capacity to do these sort of performances, I haven't, apart from one very, very early on. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. However, I will be telling a story that you've heard before if you've watched all my YouTube videos. But that necessarily isn't a bad thing, and with it being live, maybe I'll be able to do a bit of interaction with y'all. Well, that's it. Nothing more to say. Thank you for being my ears on these last 7 weeks of storytelling. It's been really nice sharing with you some stories that I've never heard before. And all that remains for me to say is that today you have heard a perspective story that I have researched, learnt, and told in one day. Thank you.